Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show.
Well, this is a new show. It's the next session about desensitizing my horses to ankle ropes and about, the flag, which I bought in Paso Robles, and about another desensitization exercise that I saw in Paso Robles. I went there to the Horseman's Reunion, the first Horseman's Reunion ever, last weekend. Took some videos, got some ideas how I want to work further with my horses. At the Horseman's Reunion for 6 days, some really good natural horsemanship trainers took 40 untrained colts and did what they had to do in 6 days to make those colts ready and desirable for an auction. And I don't know what happened at the auction, but I did watch every single minute I could, all the techniques those natural horsemanship trainers were using to train their horses. And I didn't really have a flag like this, so I went to a tack shop in Paso Robles and I bought one. It's expensive, but it's lightweight, it's got a good handle, it's got a convenient wrist rope to hang it on your wrist, and this thing makes the kind of noise, watch Eve's ears, that if you want to, you can apply a lot of pressure with the sight and with the noise. Eve is okay with it right now, the way I'm doing it, even over her head. Sadie was real bug-eyed, that's Eve's daughter, when I put it over her head. Okay, so this is a training flag. I may or may not use it. These are two crops. One is a dressage crop, which is longer than the traditional crop, but the traditional crop has a little flapper on it that will make a noise. And I have it here because when I'm all done with these desensitization exercises, I'm going to see if I can get up onto my simulated side saddle. I've simulated a side saddle because I would like to buy a real Western side saddle. They're quite expensive though. I do have some problems with my hips right now, and I'm probably gonna have some surgery for it. But in the meantime, whether or not I do have the surgery, it'll be months before I can traditionally sit on a saddle with my leg over the saddle, doing what the right leg does on the side of the horse and in the saddle. But I've been reading a lot on the internet about side saddles and using side saddles and what you have to do that's different from using a traditional saddle. So I'm going to kind of practice some of those things. I'm going to maybe swing a few loops from the side saddle and see if I can keep my balance. I'm going to use a crop or a dressage whip on the right side if I do need some leg pressure for a leg that's not there. So we're going to do that today or in the next session. And one of the very challenging exercises at Paso Robles was getting the colts to accept, watch, a bag. A bag being pulled around on the ground. It makes noise. It's colorful. And I'm doing this first with Eve because I really don't expect any problems with Eve. She's pulled a lot of things, and we've pulled logs from a saddle and simulated logs like ABS and YPVC pipes, but we never pulled a bag. So I took my Beneful dry food bag for my dogs, and we put on a 12-foot line on it. So we're going to do this with Eve too, desensitize her to a bag. Now with Sadie and with Eve, I'm pretty sure we did it with Eve in one of my prior shows. I'm actually not sure. I'd have to go back to my list of shows, but maybe not. But I know I did it with Sadie, and she was a basket case. I saw this done at Paso Robles. This is a Honda, a metal Honda, that slides very easily. It's on a lariat that on the other side has a traditional Honda that you use for cattle roping. That doesn't slide as easily because it's got a piece of leather here that tends to grab. The metal slides easily. And I am going to pick Eve's foot up. I'm going to move this out of the way for now so that you can see how Eve behaves when I do this. We're in our square pen, by the way, because it is a stormy day. Let's go, Evie. Oops, didn't quite grab when I wanted to. Let's try again. It's all right. There we go. With the metal harness, so it's going to slip nicely. If you look back on a prior show, just a couple shows ago, we did this with Sadie, and she did just what I thought she would from watching Paso Robles. She kept kicking out. And I said, okay, we're going to do it with Evie next. So I guess maybe I hadn't already done it with Evie. That's right. I said, I'll bet you Sadie's mom, Eve, won't kick out at all. Now watch, I'm putting pressure with this lariat on her ankle. She came up. She has not yet kicked out, which was what the horses at the Paso Robles reunion kept doing until, with repetition, they realized that it doesn't help to kick out. The pressure will not be removed when they kicked out. The pressure will be removed when they do just what Eve is doing. Standing there, not paying any attention. Now, not only is this a desensitization exercise, but it's a very practical exercise because if your horse gets a chain, a wire, a root system, grabbing at them at their legs, they can spook terribly. They can kill themselves in their spook and flight. So we're trying to make sure that all three of my ranch versatile Morgans are okay on feeling this kind of pressure. I'm going to pull it out one more time. She's got her other leg, back leg cocked, does not intend to lift this leg, which, oh, there she did. She changed her. Okay, but up came her leg, not out, just up. So she has passed this desensitization test with flying colors. She got an A+. I'm going to open the lariat. Ask Angela to step forward. She'll step right out of the loop. There we go. And that exercise is done. Now, the cowboys, and there was only one cowgirl at Paso Robles, did this first without being in the saddle, and then they got in the saddle. So, as I showed you a few minutes ago, Evie is just fine. As a matter of fact, one of the horses that continually spooked at the bag being dragged on the ground, the cowboy got in the saddle and picked up the bag, and the horse didn't spook at all. And I said to my partner, Katie, who was there with me, and thought to myself, you know, a spooky object up here is a different spooky object from down here. So I wasn't at all surprised that that particular horse didn't mind when this spooky object was up at her head or rib height, but did mind a whole lot when it was making noise and being dragged around on the ground. As you can see, Eve is fine on it. So here is the next objective for today's lesson. Besides, we're going to pick up the rope and pick up the spooky object, the spooky bag again, if I can get into the side saddle. Can you turn Eve around? Why don't you walk around and have the left side of her a little closer to the saddle. Every time we do this, a little closer to the camera. Every time we do this, we make a change. Can you zoom in? Yeah. Okay. We make a change to make it work better, we hope, next time. But this is a vaulting sur single. There's a handle here, a black plastic handle, just like on the other side. I put a little piece of ABS in here, covered it with some upholstery material, added some extra stirrups. I actually don't need them on both sides, except that sometimes we use this vaulting surcingle with stirrups on both sides, so I just left them on the other side. I brought my 3-step up. Yeah, okay. We're going to pretend like this is a side saddle. We're going to use this snaffle bit that has longer yacht rope reins. With side saddle, you always want to use reins that are a little longer than you might normally ride with. And Eve is usually pretty good about step-ups, especially when she sees me coming. So I'm putting this 3-step step-up close to her. I'm going to step up the step-up. This can be spooky to a horse, too, to have somebody up like this over their head. Angela knows to hold the other stirrup. We did this last time with Katie, who was riding Sadie, or it was Eve? Okay, yeah, that's right. I didn't know how high the step up would bring me here. I need to scooch onto this simulated pad that, it's a pad that it's really just a saddle pad, but it's a place to put your hips, your butt. It's my left leg that's bad right now, so I'm going to see if I can scooch up. You've got the stirrup? We've even vaulted on Eve, so these feelings are not unusual to her. I let the stirrup go. I put my leg on this right leg holder. I put my left leg in the stirrup. Let's not move yet. I'm really happy with this progress. It looks like nothing, but for me, because of my hip problem, I'm encouraged that this is gonna work, at least as a simulated side saddle, for a little while. And then there are a lot of factors to consider when you're buying a side saddle, just like when you're buying any saddle. Measuring the back and quality of leather and associated straps and so forth that come with it. So I have a lot of investigating to do. But and I've also vaulted, so I'm making sure that when I sit here, I feel that I am stable on this place that would normally be a saddle seat if I had a real side saddle. And Eve has a nice flat back, so it's not bony. Okay, here's what I want to do. Kyle, could you bring me the rope? Kyle is my cameraman. I want to see, because I'm doing another show, if this works well, called side saddle roping. I want to see, especially for slow-moving targets, can I keep my balance in the side saddle, simulated side saddle, when I swing the rope? And I've got a twist in the rope. Why don't you stop the camera for a minute so I can figure out how to untwist this rope, and then I'll start it again. Okay, I got the twist out easily. I actually threw the rope down next to Eve. She looked at it, but she didn't get excited. I noticed that as I was manipulating the rope, I was allowing my left butt cheek to fall on the left side of her spine, her top of her back. And I realized that, in fact, that changed my balance. This is really almost a vaulting exercise, so I needed to push myself back so that I felt that my right side of my cheek was beyond her spine, and my left side of my cheek is essentially on the middle of her back. I'm giving you all this detail because, quite frankly, I have never ridden a real side saddle, and I'm only now finding out about the way it works, although it's been used for centuries. Has it ever been used for cow work? I haven't been able to find that yet on the internet. If I search for side saddle and cow work, I don't find it. But side saddles for jumping, yes. Side saddles for trail riding, yes. Side saddles for ring work and dressage, definitely. But my passion, and it's been a lifelong passion, is livestock, including cows. And I have many cows. I like to work them. I like to rope them carefully. And I like to use my Morgan horses. So even if I can't ride straddled over a Western saddle like I have for some 45 years, maybe I can continue with my passions with a side saddle. And we're going to continue to video these sessions so that you can see how it goes. Now, I don't know if you heard it. I know my cameraman did. We have pigeons in this covered arena. And my horses are pretty used to them because they come in here at night for shelter, and the pigeons most definitely are nesting up in the lights and in the fans in the ceiling. This is not unusual. I heard it on RFD TV. I think it was Erin Ralston. It's all right, Evie. Look at that. Watch body language. She definitely saw something, heard something, might have been the pigeon. He says you need to desensitize your horse to pigeons if you've got them nesting, flying around in your ceiling. So we're always aware of that when we come to the covered square pen. Okay, I'm feeling very good on her back. Now, if she were to sidestep on me, would I be concerned about falling off? Yeah, at this point, yes. I adjusted myself, but I'm going to. She's my rope horse, and she knows the sound of a rope. Swing the rope over her head. Notice I haven't moved yet. I don't intend to today. This is just a situation where I'm trying to figure out, can I sit here? Even if I don't move, can I do what I like to do? Can I throw the rope without falling forward and losing my balance? That felt fine. Angela, very carefully, can you stand in front of Eve on the other side? Very carefully, I don't want her moving at this point. Because normally, putting your horse in position for roping, you want your target to be on their right side. And I threw on the left side because Angela was there. So let me make myself a big loop, and Evie is usually okay on me touching her with this lariat. She's aware and watching, okay. I'm going to hold these reins, although these aren't roping reins. My roping reins are thinner and shorter. I'm going to go over her head again. Throw to the right. Let go of my coil, which if I'm a distance away from my target, I have to automatically do that. You usually can't think about doing it. It has to be automatic. I'm going to bring it back, coil it up, and she's just fine. Okay, the roping portion of this exercise is done. Now, Kyle, can you leave the camera on us and take that bag and walk around her just like I did before I was up here? Now, I'm holding on to the right side of this vaulting surcingle handle, the handle on the right side, okay, and put it down, holding onto the rope just to have another thing to hold on to for what I like to do on my ranch. I almost always have a rope with me. Eve is watching. Her ears are turning. When you get to the front of Eve, make a left-hand U-turn and come back and go the other direction. Notice I have not put my right leg over the vaulting surcingle to her right side, which of course is where I'm most comfortable under normal circumstances, sitting with my legs in a saddle. Good. That's great. Now, hand it to me and take my rope. It's all right, Eve. Okay. As I said, at Paso Robles, the horse that was completely a basket case from seeing what we just did with a sack on the ground didn't mind at all when he brought it up like this. So I'm going to take this sack, I'm going to throw it onto the ground, and from the saddle, slide it back and forth. It's making noise. She's hearing it. She's seeing it. On the step, making a noise. Behind Angela. Angela, you want to go back to the other side now? Now, for comparison, we're going to do this desensitization exercise with the bag and with the ankle rope with Semi, my other Morgan, who's quite a cow horse. But I started with Eve because I knew she'd be good. I thought she would, and I felt safer doing it. All right. Okay, I dropped the bag, made a noise, didn't mind. Now the question is, Katie was riding around like this yesterday on Eve, wasn't she? Yep. I'm not sure I'm stable enough to do it. I've got my foot in the stirrups in such a way that if I do fall, I'm not going to fall forward in the stirrup and get hung up on it. I'm going to hold on to this rein, hold on to the handle. What I'd like you to do is just make a good U-turn, a rather large one, not a tight one, and bring the other side of this vaulting surcingle in front of the camera. Okay, now if I have to let go, I'm going to probably just slide down, pull my stirrup out of my left leg boot, right, and slide down. Okay, all right, let's go. I'm looking where we're going to go. First, we're going to go straight. So I'll go. Good. See, I feel different to Eve. Good. Good. Okay, whoa. Whoa. Very nice, Eve. It feels different to Eve to have me up here with this kind of balance, but she's okay on it. You see how I'm holding on to this vaulting surcingle handle for extra support right now. And I did look where I wanted to go. And I didn't need, because I have a leader here on the lead line, I didn't need any kind of cues here, but if I needed to, as a matter of fact, Kyle, could you hand me that dressage whip? I like dressage whips for cues because they are longer than the traditional flapper whip. Okay, so what we're going to do, I know that I'm going to want to go to my left. And I'm going to ask you to join up with her, but I'm going to ask her to go to the left by a little neck reining, kind of ask her to move away from the pressure here, which normally I would ask with the leg right here. As a matter of fact, that's maybe where I'll put the pressure or the tap. I'm going to look. No, stay with, I want the line on. I'm being real careful this first time, you guys. I'm looking to the left, using this dressage whip for a little bit of pressure, looking again to the left, asking for whoa. Good, good, very nice. I feel like I've found my moment of resolution. I've done everything that I wanted to do today with Firecrest Easter Eve on a rainy day in Santa Cruz in the spring of 2012. And I'll be showing you as much as I can learn, as much as I can do with a side saddle to be a ranch versatile urban cowgirl. Well, as a postscript, Angela is now on Eve. We had to shorten the stirrup on the left side. She's going to do with Kyle just what I did with Angela. So first, Kyle, you're going to lead her, and Angela, you're going to kind of feel weird at first. It's really a different feeling of balance. Okay, go ahead. And then keep going around, and then don't lead her, just hang there with her, and Angela, you show her what you want to do by looking where you're going, and using the neck rein, a direct rein only if you have to. Now, if you want to use the direct rein in your left hand, slide your hand down. There you go, there you go. Can you feel that, what happens to your butt? Yeah. Okay, make a turn and go the other direction, any way you want. Okay, you're being challenged. Okay, that's fine. Look where you're going. Always look where you're going, not at the horse's head. Slide your hand down if you want to use a direct rein. Come all the way around. And then park yourself by the 3-step and pull your foot out of the stirrup and slide off. And that will be our moment of resolution for you and for this postscript. Okay, now you're not quite close enough. You're in the wrong direction. So why don't you back? Try a back. You've got reins to ask for it. It's not like we're reinless here. Don't look at her head. Look over her head. Over her head. Okay, and now ask for back, and your butt and your torso is going to say back. Look over her ears. Over her ears. It's really weird. You're looking at her ears. That's it. Okay, Kyle, help Eve to understand. She needs a little more. Good. Good. Go back a few more steps so that you can come closer to the step up. Kyle, a little visual in front of Eve's eyeballs. That's it. That's it. Visuals are very powerful. Now, staying out of Angela's way, Angela, try to park at the 3-step up. Now you got to get her hip over a little bit. Can you do that? I actually should be up there. Can you get her hip over without having her give forward impulsion? Nope. Little misunderstanding. Okay, Kyle, back her up with your visual block. And Angela, make sure she doesn't run into the step. Visual block. That's it. She doesn't mind the sound. A little more. I'd say 1, 2. Oh, a little bit too much. Can you step up a small step? Okay. Oh, but now you're on the wrong side. Okay, but you can swing your leg over, can't you? I can't, not at this time. But okay, we can do a lot with a side saddle, even without having legs on both sides of the horse. Thank goodness we can have reins. Thank goodness we can have a bridle. And we can certainly use riding aids like looking where you want to go and carrying a crop. And okay, I feel like, Angela, any comment from you? How did it feel?
It felt very strange at first, and then I started getting used to it, and then going back felt different again.
It felt different, strange? Yeah, okay. Angela doesn't ride too much, so she still has a lot to learn about traditional riding. But a lot of what I told you today are things that no matter how much you've ridden, if you're taking a lesson and don't do this kind of thing every day, very often your trainer will say, don't look at the head, look over the head, even when you're backing up. And your body language alone will explain to her that you want her to back. Okay, you don't necessarily need your legs to get a back. Okay, well, we'll show you our progress. That's it for today.
See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.